everybody, it's Peter from Brantford Kia, and this is the 2020 Kia Niro PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And right off the bat, I'm going to say something controversial. If you are looking at this car, I really seriously want you to consider shopping with us at Brantford Kia. The problem we have with this car is we just don't see it very often. And when a salesperson doesn't see a car, it becomes very difficult to sell that car. This is a car that we are familiar with selling, and we've gone over this particular car. This one's already sold, but we've gone over this particular car in detail, and we want to be the experts on electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, and that's why we do these videos, to earn your business. And I will say flat out, I'm very convinced that people don't know these vehicles like they should, which makes it harder to sell to you. And I think this is a vehicle that many of you should buy. We've obviously had a lot of interaction with EV buyers, and some of the drawbacks of EVs are answered by this car, and it's really a good deal when you consider that there's still a government rebate on this car in Canada. So if you are interested in this car, or maybe interested in this car, stay with me until the end. We're going to talk about a lot of the updates that have been done on the 2020 model, which really make this car a much better car. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are sort of the same. So I want to go over what I like about this car, some of the features that you'll like about this car, and of course, we are a dealership, not a review channel. What that means is that you can ask us questions and we can get more information. It's not like we have this car for a week and it's gone for good. Now, this particular car is gone this week, but I've been advocating to stock some of these cars, and these are vehicles that we can get. We do sell them, and we want to sell one to you if it's the right car for you. So let's go over some of the things on this car. Stay with me, because there's a lot of little features as we move from the front to the back, inside and through to the driver's seat with technology that I want to tell you about and I think you'll be interested in. Let's go start at the front. All right, as we start at the front of the car, I'm going to go full disclosure again on you. When the Niro first came out, just the regular Niro, I really liked it. I thought it was a practical car. I thought it was great efficiency. There's a lot I liked about it. One thing I wasn't crazy about was the front lights. And then the Niro EV came out and they corrected it. They put LED lights in here. They just made it look a lot more modern. And this car now has those LED lights of the, or very similar to anyways, the EV Niro. So you've got LED headlights through here. You've got an LED marker light down here. You'll also see LED lights down here. Now, before we go too far, you'll see them blinking in the camera probably. Most LED lights do blink when you film them. Not every light does, but some do. They blink, they flash, they do different things. All of these lights are on steady, but they may be blinking in the camera, and that's just the way it films. So, LED lights here, LED daytime running lights, LED marker lights down here. This whole front bumper and grille area, this is new to this car. One thing I think a lot of people are gonna like is the fog lights down here. The Niro EV, when it came out, LED lights up here looked fantastic. Then they had halogen fog lights down there, and they were yellow in color compared to the white lights. They didn't add a ton of light, and some users complained that those lights should have been LED. I kind of agreed. Kia obviously agreed as well. They've got it right this time here. So you got LED lights, LED fog lights. New grille across here that is really nice. I think that's going to look a lot like the 2020 regular Niro. Now, we haven't seen that 2020 Niro in our store yet, but I flew to LA for the LA Auto Show, and it did look very similar to this here. There is a few openings down here, sort of solid up top, but again, sort of a nice kind of consistent look with the EV, but sort of an updated look as well. New front lower area as well here. You got your radar plate there. Nice contrasting color, I don't know, it's a diffuser in the back, but certainly panel out front here. It looks like a proper crossover now. It's still a front-wheel drive vehicle, so some of you may call this a wagon, but we're not allowed to say wagon in the car industry anymore. That's what's updated out front. Long story short, there's a few things that you don't notice on pictures and videos that when you come up to the car, you do notice in person. The car looks better. And why? It's just some of the little details in here. We're gonna take a look at the side of the car, some styling details across there. We'll head to the back of the car, we'll work our way through. All right, front to back, real quick, we do have Michelin tires on here. New wheels as well. Looks a little bit sharper, a little bit more modern. You've got the signal lights in the tail, or in the mirrors here, kind of standard stuff. Here's the big door we're talking about. This is the charge door. This is where you plug in. So a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle gives you a certain amount of kilometers of pure electric range. Now that kilometer varies. It's around 40 kilometers on this car. There's a rated range, and that can vary a little bit, but right around 40 kilometers. You plug in here, you can give it that power, and you can drive it like an electric vehicle, even at highway speeds, purely electric vehicle. The benefit of this car, and this is why people buy these cars, is you don't have any range anxiety at all. When you run out of that electric range, it's a gasoline car, but it's not just a gasoline car, it's a hybrid car. So people used to know hybrids only as the Prius. That was like the Kleenex of tissues. The Prius was the car that people knew hybrids of. Kia's been doing hybrids for a long time, and they make some of the best ones. So the Niro is always a hybrid. No matter which Niro you see, it's either a hybrid or it's an electric car. So this one turns into a hybrid. What that means is you get fantastic fuel efficiency even after you're done using your pure electric range. And I drove this car the other day, put about 32 kilometers on it the other day, and it really impressed me. It's just the way it blends electric power. It had no electric charge at all in it, but of course it still has that electric gas mix. So what I'm saying when it says no electric power, it gets confusing. It had no charge to run purely on electric, but as a hybrid, it still blends gas and electric, that it generates and regenerates from the brakes, charges from the engine, those kind of things. So it sounds confusing, but what it does is even at higher speeds, I was running in electric vehicle mode for short spurts as it was able to do that. And what that does is it gets great fuel efficiency. So I'm driving around 70, 80 kilometers an hour, and I'm seeing my fuel economy, my average fuel economy, drop to 2.7 liters per 100 kilometers, 2.3 liters per 100 kilometers. And that's why this car is incredible, because not only do you get 0 liters per 100 kilometers when you drive on pure electric, you can get really incredible mileage when you blend that mileage, the pure electric range, with just the hybrid. Of course, our regular hybrid gets as little as 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers. This one is in the same type of range. It's rated as a fuel consumption of 1.6 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, of course, in pure hybrid mode, it'll be worse than that, but the car is incredible on fuel and no range anxiety issues. Moving along the side, all right, roof rails up top, that's kind of standard on every Niro as far as I can remember. Chrome door handles, chrome panel down here. Now the Niro EV in Canada also has this chrome panel. In the States, I believe it is a black panel, so a little bit more classy look, a little bit more upscale look when you see it in person. And again, these are the details you don't notice on camera, but as you approach the car in person, you're going, wow, that car looks really good. And some of those details are why. Chrome door handles as well. Gas door back here, so again, fill with gas, drive across the country. Even if you never charge it, you can drive this like a regular car anytime and it will still blend gas and electricity. This charge door is sort of the magic door where you run purely electric, no need for the gas engine, unless certain things happen, like for instance, this car has no electric heater, so if you need heat, it'll use some of the gas engine, and that's fine. You want that gas engine to run a little bit, but you're still gonna get, like we say, fuel consumption rating, combined rating, 1.6 liters per 100 kilometers. That's crazy. All right, let's check out the back end now. All right, the back end styling, you'll see a few upgrades if you're kind of a Kia Niro nerd like me, Niro nerd. Around here we have new updated lighting. Now these are LED lights, they've been on, not just the lights have been on, the car has been on the entire video. The reason you don't hear anything is because it's not running because of that electric charge capabilities. So these lights may be dancing around for you on video, but they're hard to show in the daylight. They do look nice, they're updated. Same basic shape, there's no difference to the body panels here, but what's inside the light panel does look different and it looks better. All of this bumper is new. Again, updated look, matches the look, or certainly very close to matching the look of the Niro EV. To my eyes, it looks identical. A couple little differences. There's no big green turquoisey line through there like we used to do on our Niro EV. It's a very subtle hybrid type car, plug-in hybrid type car. There is a badge down here that says Eco Plug-in. If you see one in the parking lot, other than that side door on the front panel, an Eco plug-in, no real hints on the outside that this is anything other than a regular car. So I kind of like that. Nice big spoiler here. The big thing with all these hybrids, you're gonna see real sharp cutoff lines. So a sharp cutoff line here, sharp cutoff line with the lights here, nice sharp cutoff lines here, right off there. What that does is it cleanly cuts the air as it goes through. Aerodynamics is a big piece of fuel efficiency, and that's why these cars are designed the way they are. As we open the trunk, we're gonna see a couple things here. Now this is the SX model, the top of the line model. So we're gonna get into what that means as we hop in the driver's seat. But back here, you've got the nice cargo panel here, which can pull out and attach over here. You've got a subwoofer over here. You have a little bit of underfloor storage in the front section here. And behind that is extra battery. So there's not a ton of underfloor storage in the PHEV. One little weird thing, the Kia Niro, just the hybrid, does not have a car battery. The plug-in hybrid, when I say car battery, I'm talking like the 12-volt battery that you have in your car right now. The hybrid does not have one. The electric vehicle and the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle do have car batteries. And the electric vehicle is under the hood. On the Niro, it is in this side right here. There's a little bit of an intrusion here, maybe a couple inches there, compared to the regular Niro. So when you're shopping for this car, if there's not a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, if there's not a PHEV in your dealership, it will drive very similar to the regular Niro. It will feel very similar to the regular Niro, but the trunk space is slightly different. There is just a tiny bit less space on this one side because there is a 12-volt battery there. Other than that, same basic floor. I think it's the exact same height, a little bit less underfloor storage. You do have the cargo net, the seats fold down, big opening, you can throw things in there. This one does have an LED light inside here on this SX Touring model of the PHEV. So LED lights were basically everywhere I've seen so far, and good cargo area. That battery is the one difference you'll see compared to the regular Niro and the plug-in hybrid Niro. We're gonna go back seat, then we're gonna go driver's seat. Driver's seat's got a lot of technology, so stay with me for that because that's where this car has made some updates compared to the previous model year. All right, the big thing with small crossovers is they are tiny in the back seat. The Niro, not so much. This seat is back further than I would use it. As I turn the car off, it has a comfort setting that has moved it back. What I did is I left it in that setting just to show you how much room is actually in this car. You have more knee room here than I would need, and I'm about 6 feet tall. The other thing is, because this is not the electric vehicle has a slightly raised floor, and that can make for a little bit less space between on your knees where they're sitting on the seat there, maybe a little bit less comfort for some people. For me, I'm comfortable in either one, but if you're really sensitive to having a seat that's nice there, this floor seems to be a little bit lower than the electric vehicle, good space underneath the seat for my feet. And again, these small crossover vehicles, what they do is they shrink them in size so much that they're not comfortable in order to get fuel efficiency. Just buy a hybrid, just buy a Niro, and you'll get way more fuel efficiency than you could dream of, and you're gonna have the space of a small crossover. So other things to mention in this SX model, the door here has a button, heated seats. So I believe that's just the seat bottom, 2 levels of seating there. You've got nice cargo netting here, not just on this side, but on both sides. So both sides have some cargo netting to store some map books, or do people use MacBooks anymore? You won't need one in this car. It's got a GPS and it's got navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. But if you need to store things here, you can do that on both sides. You've got some vents here. You've got a proper plug here, like a household plug that you can charge your laptop or something else in there on the bottom. Leather seats here. They do have some perforations in them for style in the back. There's an armrest down here. Now, a couple things about that armrest. It doesn't fall flat to the seat. It falls where your arm would need it. Nice soft touch materials. You've got cup holders in there as well. Same thing with the armrest on the door. Soft touch materials. So everywhere you sit, if you're an adult in the back seat, you've got nice comfortable areas here. Speaker in the door here as well. What I really like with these plastic panels on these leather seats is if you have kids, and I do, they can really get the back of the seats pretty dirty. They can scuff up the leather on there. Plastic seats are easy to clean. Way better system if you're going to carry young people through here, and just gives you that clean kind of look that you can keep clean. All right, that's it for the back seat. I really want to get to the front seat because that's what you'll be impressed with. All right, in the driver's seat, what I'm going to do is something a little different than I normally do. Normally I go over some of the features, but now I'm going to talk about how you use this car. And I think that may be a better way to go about things. And we can certainly talk about features in the future. First thing you're going to notice, new for 2020, the entire dash is new, and I love it. I'm going to say right out front, it's the best dash we have. It's display screens, but display screens done right. Left side, you've got your state of charge, you've got your power usage, those kind of things. In the center is a clear display screen. It looks like an iPad, and you can customize that with all kinds of information in there. You've even got a tachometer. So a lot of time on hybrid cars, they take away the tachometer and put some gauges in there that make no sense to a lot of people. Tachometer's in there, so you know that. Right side, you've got speedometer. And the big thing I talk about with this display type screen is when you need information, and a lot of people who buy these cars can be very analytical people. If you're the analytical person that wants all the data, it's there for you in this screen. You can find ways to display it. The flip side is, if you're someone who does not want all that data, you just want to drive the car, everything's clearly laid out and it's easy to understand. One thing I want to talk about with this car is parking. Parking is a thing that nobody talks about, but you've got a lot of features in this car that actually make it easy. Visibility is excellent. It's a smaller car, easy to park, tight turning circle, those things matter. You've got this big 10.25 inch screen with a fantastic backup camera, but not just a backup camera. You've got to the right of the screen there, you can see those grayed out areas are actually, they change color as you approach something closer. So in addition to being able to visually see through a backup camera, you can also use the parking sensors that will have beepers attached to them. The faster they beep, the closer you are to something. But you've also got a visual display with that shows sort of that radar type, sonar type system that shows you how close you are to something. And you've got rear cross traffic alert. So when you put the car in reverse, if you're parked beside a large van or something like that, you can't see beside you as you're backing out. If there's something crossing your path, it will tell you in the display screen in the center of the car, and it will tell you there. As well as collision avoidance things. You've got all kinds of collision avoidance systems that are standard on a whole bunch of other Kias. We'll talk about them in a future video because we're talking specifically PHEV here. All right, you've got, like I said, blind spot detection, collision avoidance, lane keep assist, lane follow assist, smart cruise control. You've got all the safety features that you would expect from Kia in a high-end car. And that's what this is. This is really a high-end car, but it's significantly less expensive than the Niro EV, and you still get that tax credit as well. All right, simple stuff. We did talk about this screen here for a backup camera. The 10.25 inch screen is the same screen we use in the Kia Soul high-end version, the Kia Soul EV, the Telluride, and it will come in the Niro high-end car when it comes, the 2020 Niro when it shows up, but right now, 2020 Niro PHEV, it's new here, and it has all kinds of software features that sort of blend that EV experience by giving you your range, your battery life, as well as giving you all of the navigation information, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and it looks fantastic on the extra wide screen. Scrolling down, nice thin vents, they look sharp. You've got a nice silver detail line in here that's a little bit new. There is ambient lighting in this car. It's too bright to show you that right now, but we'll try to get this car at night. This particular model is sold. We are planning to try to bring another one in that we can do at night. We'll do an at night video in the PHEV. Down here is your climate control system. Now, when we talked about that EV range, that approximately 40 kilometers of EV range, our electric cars have electric heaters. The regular gas cars use the gasoline engine to create heat. This car, in that sense, is like the gasoline engine. So, you can do things that can prevent you from turning on that gasoline engine in the coldest winter days. First of all, it's okay to have that engine run in the winter. That's fine. You let it run every now and then. It's good for the vehicle to have that, run every now and then. Now, that being said, I can do things like on a day like today. The car is on right now, but of course the door open, it is about 7 degrees Celsius outside. I'm going to turn on the climate control right now. It's set for 22 degrees. The engine started. So you can see when I need to create heat, that engine's been off for quite a while now, several hours. So it has to create some heat to give me heat. If I turn the climate system off, it'll wait for a second and you'll find that the car will turn itself off as well. So I'll let you know when that happens. The car is still running, but I'll continue talking and let you know when that happens. Down here, when we talk about turning the climate control system off, that may not be something you always want to do, but if you do want to do it, you have a heated steering wheel and you have heated seats. So 3 levels of seat heating up front, 3 levels of, the car just turned off right there. So 3 levels of seat heating in the front 2 seats. You also have 3 levels of seat ventilation. Now, air conditioning doesn't use a ton of energy and gasoline. It can run sometimes without the gasoline engine running, but that seat ventilation means that these black leather seats don't get hot. They feel cool to the touch in the summertime, and they blow the cold air through there. So ventilated seats, 3 levels of ventilation, 3 levels of heated steering wheel. You can get by with less climate usage. Less climate usage can extend some of that EV range. A couple things to know, you can change, there's an EV and HEV button. What that means is when you start the car up, like right now, let's say I was gonna go drive to downtown Toronto and I wanted to save the pure electric range for when I got to downtown Toronto. You just hit a button here, the EV, HEV button, it turns it into EV mode, HEV mode, which is hybrid electric vehicle, makes it a hybrid vehicle. You can drive downtown and then you can switch it to EV mode when you want to use that EV power. So you don't have to use that pure electric range as soon as you start the car if you think there's going to be a more efficient place to use that electric range in the future. Great system there. Transmission in this car. We talked about the tachometer in the dash. This is a dual clutch transmission. Now you hear that term dual clutch with things like Porsche. In this car, it does make it sporty and fun to drive. You do have a tachometer. You can manually shift it as well, and they are instant shifts. So they use that because it's very good for fuel efficiency, but it also makes it a little bit more fun to drive. Now, this isn't a sports car, but you do have some driver interaction. It's not a boring car by any stretch of the imagination. Going to the steering wheel, the smart cruise control, that's the cruise control that can keep its distance from the cars in front of you. I love that. Use it all the time in traffic, which is the opposite of where you usually use cruise control. Usually you use cruise control when there's less traffic around. This is great to use in traffic. Automatic headlights, we talked about them, those LED lights, LED fog lights as well. A lot of really nice features. One thing I didn't talk about, power seats in this car. The Niro EV has powered seats with a driver's memory button. The Soul EV does not have driver memory buttons. The PHEV, again, we're back to like the Soul or the Niro EV. It has the driver memory button. So if you're sharing the car, memory seats. A couple other things, when we talk about parking the car, one thing I forgot to mention, your mirrors. If you have them set up with the left or right mirror selected, so instead of having it centered out in the position, the mirrors will tilt down as you reverse, so they will show you the lines beside the car. You can turn that on or off if you like. Lots of smart features. We talked about the stereo system. This car is the SX Touring, has the Harman Kardon system. Sounds fantastic. And yeah, there's 100 things we can tell you about. I did find out between takes here that we are planning to have one of these in stock, so we can talk more about it. So let's finish up the video with a couple questions from you. So I get asked all the time, should I buy a Niro EV, just a Niro hybrid, or a Niro PHEV? And I'm kind of leaning a lot more to this car than I ever used to. This car was so rare and the EVs were so cool. And don't get me wrong, I drive a Soul EV, so I'm a big proponent of EV vehicles. However, for a lot of people, EV vehicles aren't quite ready for them. They want to do some driving, they don't want to worry about range and other things like that. This is your car. It really gives you all the benefits of the regular Niro EV, but it does give you that unlimited range. So again, you have less pure electric range, but you get fantastic fuel economy. You don't have to plug in ever. The one thing I should mention, this car comes with the level 1 charger. That's the one that you plug into the wall, just like you plug your cell phone in. You can plug it in the front door. On this car, my personal recommendation is that you would not need a level 2 charger. You can use a level 2 charger with this when you go to IKEA and various other places where you see those level 2 chargers at the mall. You can use that on this car. But for most people's purposes, I don't think you would need to install one in your house, which means you come to the dealership, you buy this car, you take it home. If you have any power at all in your garage with a plug, you have full access to this vehicle's features. And I think that's the way to go. So if you have questions, ask us in the comments below. I want to do more videos on this car. I want to talk more about this car, but I need some interaction from you. If you're ready to buy this car and you don't know who to talk to, I'm going to make sure that our sales team is trained on this car, and I'll take that as a personal responsibility, because I think we should see more of these on the roads. I want to sell more. I think we can be a leading dealer on these vehicles. We probably already are. Our sales team is already pretty well trained on these vehicles, but the 2020 model steps it up with some of those bigger screens, new features, LED lighting, interior LED lighting as well. This is a car that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, and it brings it into a price range that makes sense. When you start looking features per dollar in a crossover, you can get a plug-in hybrid crossover for less money than some of our competitors' regular crossovers. And when we talk fuel usage between a plug-in hybrid and a regular crossover, it's literally night and day. It's really going to make that difference up in mileage in no time. And again, we're already probably priced less when you go feature per feature on another car. So thanks for staying with me. I know this has been a long video. I'm happy to do shorter videos on just features of the car, and I want to know what you want to know about it. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.